Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. Get this little thing situated there. Hey there, Jeffrey. How are you doing? Thanks for watching. This is your daily, or not your daily. Wow, I need more coffee. This is our once a week live stream where we are going to go ahead and answer your questions, my answers. This is 60 minutes where I get to see what's going on in the world. Love to hear about your markets, your buy box. We had obviously the National Association of Realtor or NARS report last week, which I had been calling for. Kind of as expected, right? Inventory is up. Inventory was up for the first time year on year in quite a while. I think it was up like 2.5%. But it is going to climb from here. We have already seen, just since Thursday, for example, Phoenix, Arizona went up 700 listings in a short 48 hours. Folks, these next 60 days are going to be very messy, right? If you follow what I do, one rental at a time, what I teach, what I talk about, your buy boxes are, I don't know what else to tell you. They're going to go bananas the next couple of weeks. And I want you to understand that I believe, at least in most buy boxes, certainly not all, but in most buy boxes, there's going to be a lot of noise in the data. What do I mean by noise in the data? Well, let's just say you have a buy box for the last year or so that's had 25 listings in it. I'm just making this up as I go. So you have 25 listings in it, and over the course of the next 30 days, let's just say that 25 goes to 61. Okay? Sounds like a lot, right? That's a 100% increase and more on a very, very tight criteria. That would be a big jump, right? Well, what do I mean by noise? I suspect, I already forgot what I said, 61? I suspect inside that, what would that be? 36 new listings, 20, maybe 40% are not really for sale. Oh, what do I mean by that? Well, of course they're for sale, right? They're actively listing, so somebody could buy them. But in reality, in order to consummate a deal, you have to get an agreement between a buyer and a seller on a number. And if you are a seller, one of the 36 in this example, who throws a $300,000 property out at $350,000, I would argue it's not really for sale, right? It's a 300 house and you're asking $350,000. What do you think? This is January? This is not January, right? This is July. So that's going to be something you have to figure out. It won't take a long time. It might take 90 days, and 90 days might feel like a long time, but when you've been looking at your market for 21 years, 90 days is a heartbeat. So I would caution, I would coach, I would advise that the next 90 days, just do the work. Don't take the next 90 days and try to make a prediction, right? If your active listings go from 25 to 61, it would be very easy to make the prediction, oh my God, if we went from 25 to 61, we're going to go to 97 next. Well, maybe, sure, possibly, but probably unlikely. Probably unlikely. So again, we are going to, the rest of the year, again, I've been telling you for a while, or my opinion is the Fed broke housing. They broke it 2 years ago. They're still breaking it. We have fundamentally changed the natural progression of home sales for years to come. We have now made it nearly unaffordable for too many. The move-up buyer is frozen. We have demand and supply destruction like never before. So we're going to see a lot of noise. So do the work. You're also going to hear a lot of people talk about housing crash. You're going to hear people talk about month on month. You're going to hear about inventory up over 100%, 150%, 200%. It's all noise. First and foremost, to the folks out there pointing at month-on-month sales, do yourself a favor, go back and look at your charts. There's month-on-month declines in pricing all the time. That's why economists don't look at month-on-month. In real estate economics, we talk about median home price and we talk about year-on-year. That's what I talk about. Again, look at the month-on-month chart. Typically, over the summertime, prices roll over. It's just what happens. Not saying that that's not going to continue, but as we shared in the June data on Wednesday, the National Association of Realtors, the median home price set another record. It just did. I mean, it's amazing how many people tried to argue with me that we didn't set a record. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. If you don't believe the number, then we can't have a discussion, because facts are facts. I absolutely do believe there are markets that are in trouble. I've now talked about the difference between Phoenix and Vegas. I think Phoenix could give Boise a run for the money about who has the biggest decline in prices in 2023. I mean, yeah, I got a note from a broker yesterday. I was out. He's like, Michael, in 2 days, we added 700 listings. In 2 days, we went from 17,300 to 18,000. Remember the deep dive we had with John Wake, my second expert on Phoenix. He's the one that opened my eyes to where the inventory is coming in Phoenix, right? You take the cheapest to the most expensive, you line them up, you see where the inventory is. In Phoenix, it's very different than most markets. In Vegas, we have a problem from 750 to $1 million. In Phoenix, it's under the median. So Phoenix prices have to go down. It's just have to. Phoenix will show a negative number, probably a year-on-year negative number, probably as early as next year. I don't know if they get a year-on-year negative this year, but it'll come next year. Again, I don't know Phoenix I've had 5 conversations about Phoenix. So if you're buy box in Phoenix and you know it better than me, good, you should. But yeah, this is going to be an amazing time. And something that I hope you hear on this channel is, I'm going to bring you reality. I'm going to bring you what I'm doing. I'm going to bring you other experts. I don't want you to be scared. I want you to be knowledgeable. I want you to build confidence in yourself. This could be 2 years. This could be 4 years. The housing market is fundamentally broken. And that means there's opportunity. What is happening right now? Well, we're losing more and more buyers. Not only have we lost buyers because of affordability, right? Black Knight told us weeks ago, maybe a month ago, that we lost 18 million potential buyers when rates went from 3 to 6. Well, folks, we get a Fed rate rise on Wednesday of next week. It ain't getting any better. But now we have all the scary headlines about a recession. Just wait until Thursday. If we get a negative print in GDP Thursday, which again, I'm not calling for, but the Atlanta Fed prediction is, and again, their indicator is much better than my gut opinion. So it's probably going to be negative. You're going to hear every headline, recession. And then you're going to get the Economic Bureau of economists and go, nope, not a recession. But it's not going to matter. We have started a recession. July 1st is going to be the first day of the recession. We're now day 23 of the recession, which will be Q3, Q4, and it will be housing led. Lots of scary headlines. But if you have confidence in yourself, you've kind of protected your job, right? We've been preparing for this for a while. On this channel, if you're a long-term viewer, 6 months or more, I've talked to almost all my experts about how do you prepare? Now what you're seeing us on this channel is we're talking to all my experts. How do we pounce? How do we take advantage? How do we go? Recessions, bear markets, bad times are where you build wealth. So if you're on this channel and you're listening, it's okay to be scared. It's scary. If this is your first downturn, I get it. My first downturn took 80% of my net worth. It was horrible. I hated it. It made me a better investor. It made me trust myself, not others. It made me do the work, because what I found in my last crash is I got cocky and I stopped doing the work. Now, I've got this 52-year spreadsheet out there that you should be looking at. If you haven't, it tells you how to beat inflation, right? The 1970s, the playbook so far is perfect, right? You want to beat inflation? Buy a house in 1970 or 2020. Get 30-year money and just hold on. We're 2 years into this. That strategy is dead on. Folks, if you haven't looked at the 1970s, the low interest rate of the 70s was 1970. It got progressively worse from there. Housing more than doubled, rent more than doubled. Guess who won the 70s? Well, it would be the landlords. Their net worth went up and their net income went up. Mortgage payments stayed the same. Getting rich, getting wealthy is, it can be done. You have to build confidence in yourself. You have to be willing to take action. If you have put yourself in a position to do more than one deal, I would highly encourage is hopefully you're like me. Hopefully you're like Matt, Dion, all the other experts. You get an opportunity to do more than one transaction this year. Do me a favor. Make sure the second transaction is better than the first. And if you can do 3, make sure the third is better than the second. You and I both don't know where this ends. So, average down, if you will. Dollar cost average. Just make the second better than the first, the third better than the second. So the other thing I want to talk about before we get to your questions, and again, remember today is for you and your questions. Please put them in. Something that is very obvious now is I won't be able to get to all of your questions. If you want to jump to the front of the line, you can use Super Chat. I have been advised by all of my YouTube experts to encourage Super Chats on my live streams. Why? Because YouTube gets paid. Right? If YouTube gets paid, they're going to push my channel in the algorithm. So the only time I'm going to talk about Super Chats are during my 60-minute live streams. If you would like to jump to the front of the line, you can give me a Super Chat and I will answer your question when it comes in. Otherwise, put your question in early because my preferred method is just to answer the questions as they came in. But given that we need this channel to grow so we can help more people, if you want to jump to the front of the line, we might as well use the feature Super Chats to see what happens. So there we go. Let's get to the top. Welcome, who's here, and all that good stuff. Jeffrey, you were first. How you doing, buddy? Chester, how are you? Jeff, good morning. Yep, Sunny and Happy are here. Yeah, I'll see if I can get them in a minute. Jeff, it eventually seems everything will be owned by investors. When do you think first-time homebuyers will be totally dead? I disagree with that entirely. I disagree with that. I don't know what the percentage is today. I think homeownership is at 66%. I think homeowners just need to realize the power that they have. I think for a long time, for the last 2 years anyway, it was very much geared towards investors. That's not a normal market. Remember I said Fed broke housing? I think what you'll see over the next 2 years, Jeff, is FHA and VA buyers dominate. I can say that because I've been seeing this for a while. If you're new in the market, you've only experienced the last 2 years. I understand why you feel that way. Absolutely not. We are not a renter nation. We never will be. Homeownership is the path to wealth. The easiest way to get homeownership today is house hacking. We've talked about it last week. We've got a session coming up in about 46 minutes that hopefully is eye-opening. I don't have a lot of regrets, which is pretty awesome to say. My one regret is I didn't house hack at 20. I made decent income. I could have house hacked. And if I would have bought a house in the early 90s in the Bay Areas, I could have retired early. So could homeownership look different? Sure. Could you be Meet Kevin? Guys, Meet Kevin is in my second book, 15 Conversations with Millionaires. Here's another, sharing too much. So when I wrote my second book, my initial thought was I would name each chapter after the guest. I decided not to do that because of Meet Kevin. I did not want to put the name in there because I only imagine the nonsense I would have to deal with given the brand. So I didn't do names because I wanted to include Meet Kevin in my book, not because he's 1 million subscribers on YouTube. It's because the man bought a house in Southern California with a 203K loan and $9,000 down. That's the story I wanted. That's the story people need to hear. Go get a fixer-upper, get a 203K loan, make the repairs in the loan, and keep going. No, I disagree with that. I hear Renter Nation. I know Grant Cardone pushes Renter Nation. I don't see it. I don't see homeownership ever dipping below 65%. I just don't see it. Not my opinion. Better Home Rental, good morning. How are you? Utterman Bargains, yes. Coffee time right over here. Catherine, good morning. How are you? Mandy, good morning. I'm seeing some listings with price increases. Wow, that's ballsy. That's funny, price increases. Invest to Wealth, good morning. Randy Severage, good morning. Lumberjack in the house. Get ready to change lives, Lumberjack. You got 44 minutes. Chester, yep, 25 to 61, so 144% increase. Yeah. Good morning, the dude. How you doing? Yep, ready for the deep dive. Roldan, how are you? Any idea why so many people pulled money out of the stock market since it's down 12% year to date? Yeah, folks, if you don't know what Dion's talking about, he might be talking about what we talked about on the daily financial news. If you didn't see that yet, $4.5 billion has been pulled out of the stock market in the last 5 weeks. It's the largest number over a 5-week period in years. I think this is the sign of people starting to give up, right? The retail investor was trained over the last 2 years, Dion, my opinion, to buy the dip and buy the dip and buy the dip. And we have undoubtedly all seen the meme now of buy the dip strategies, and I think people are starting to give up. I think people are starting to get nervous about jobs. I think they're starting to get nervous about a recession. The consumer, the folks that I have studied for 30 years, are very predictable. Very predictable. And I would tell you right now that the average consumer is scared. They just are. They're scared. They're nervous. The average investor, if you're under 35, you haven't experienced a bear market. The first one always hurts the most. I remember mine. It hurt. It hurt the most. You don't really learn that those are the opportunities until you go through it once. So, yeah, that's what I think. I think they're scared. Sean with the question of the day. I actually forgot to talk about this in my daily financial news. It was in my notes, but I thought I was running a little long. The 10-year note crashed. I think it was 2.86 yesterday. It is mind-boggling, right? I think the yield curve, the real question next week, Sean, for me, is what is going to be the gap between the 3-month treasury and the 2-year note? Right now, I think the gap, this is all from memory, is about half a point, maybe 60 basis points. I think it was 62, maybe somewhere in there. If we get the 90-year and the 10-year, excuse me, not 90-day and 2-year, 90-day and 10-year, if that collapses, I don't know, to 20 basis points, 15 next week, which it might, because again, I'm fairly confident the Fed raises 75 basis points on Wednesday. What the hell does that teach you? Oh, and heaven forbid the 3-month goes above the 10-year. Think about how illogical that is. You're going to borrow money from somebody for 90 days, you owe them 5%. You want to borrow money from somebody for 10 years, you borrow at 3%. Now, those aren't the numbers. I'm using them to just show you how nutty the world is. I do think it's smart money telling us that they think the Fed's going to hit us with a recession. I think it's also the smart money telling us this is not going to be a mild recession. Something we talked about yesterday in the daily financial news is there's 3 types of recessions: mild, moderate, and severe. With the 10-year crashing and the Fed likely to go 75, I think you could take mild off the table. Excuse me. I think it's a moderate, and I fear a severe recession. So that's what I think it's telling us. I think it's wild. I think yield inversion is a great indicator. I think the fact that the yield is getting even more inverted is wild. I watch it just like you, Sean. I have no words. It's the smart money telling us that a problem is coming. That's what I think it tells us. Chester, cascading chain of events all started more expensive. Yeah, so talking about pulling capital. Yep. Persona, good morning. How are you? Yeah, pain is the best teacher. Absolutely. Oh, the Fed broke the economy. That's probably That's actually, yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. Looking forward to your white paper. Do you have an idea when it's released? I don't know. I am. I'm actually trying to. Actually, it's funny you bring that up. So, if you follow my channel, you know there's a guy on Twitter I follow from Housing Wire, Logan. I want to say Matsus. Actually, you know what? I have my phone. I don't even have to guess. I can look it up. Let me see. What's Logan's name? You should be following this guy. What's his name? Logan Mat. Oh man, I'm gonna mess this up. Matsusami. Anyways, I tried. Anyways, Logan is the economist for the Housing Wire. So I actually am interviewing him on Monday on my channel, which I am ecstatic about. I had to go through the press HQ. I had a lot of hoops to jump through to get Logan interviewed. So it's set up for Monday. I'm ecstatic. But where does that tie into your question, James? I want to get a co-author on this if I choose. I haven't formally. If I can get another economist from a national organization to kind of co-write it with me, it's going to happen. Economic white papers, they are always backwards looking. So we probably need another year of data to really tell the full story. So it wouldn't come out best case to 2024. I mean, when I say economic white paper, this is like a published paper. If I can't find someone like Logan or Jeff or any other of these folks that I communicate with, I may write a paper, but it probably won't be peer reviewed and it probably won't be published and get all the pomp and circumstance. So the question is, James, the answer is, do I get somebody to co-write it with me, co-author, and thus becomes peer reviewed? Or do I just write something, that doesn't get peer reviewed? So anyways, it wouldn't come out for a year anyway, but that's, I am actively looking for a co-writer, or a co-author. And it starts Monday with Logan. It should be fun. Janet, good morning, 9 a.m. Yeah, Three Amigos. It's I say this with all seriousness, and hopefully it comes across as I've said it the last couple of days. I believe this video is going to change people's lives. It's a very low bar. I'm telling Dion and Matt, that's the only bar we have is to change lives. So I told them they could come out with flip-flops on. These two guys should be able to do it. They are that good. Chester, investors still make up less than 15% of the total addressable market from what I remember. I think we're talking about housing here. I'm guessing based on that number. I think it's a little more than that. It might be that number if you just look at single family homes, if that's what you're talking about. Because again, the real estate market's about 68-32, but that includes the entire real estate market in apartments, multifamilies, units, all of that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I am for all the rights, for all the bad things that is the U.S. economy and capitalism, there's a hell of a lot more good things. And one of them is home ownership. I believe there's not enough talk about getting on the property ladder. I mean, again, house hacking. Anna Kelly, living in Texas, 2 kids, got the house, got the pad. Gorgeous place. Decides she wants a better life. She steps backwards. She sells the pad in Houston, moves to family, which could not be easy, I am sure. Moved in with in-laws. That doesn't sound fun. Then buys a 4-plex, 2 stories. And well, by the way, it snows in Pennsylvania. She's walking upstairs holding kids and she house hacks. Life's about choices. Now, this is not aimed at people that watch my channel, but people in your network that meet the following statement. We, generally speaking, are soft. We're just soft. We run from discomfort. We seek comfort. We don't want to sacrifice. I challenge you to listen to any of my 8 or 9 millionaires and not hear how each of them struggled and sacrificed for years. My experts are not soft. Lots of you would love their life today, but trust me, most of you are not willing to go to McDonald's and eat the dollar menu as your treat. You're soft. Most of you are not willing to sell your big house and move into a 2-story fourplex and live with 3 tenants. You're soft. How bad do you want it? You know, live uncomfortably for a while so you can live how you want in the future. Olivia and I, we went from spending every penny we made to spending 50%. Do you think that's easy? I've told you many times, one of my most vivid memories is trying to drive home from yet another housewarming party. This time, my direct report had a bigger and nicer house than I did. I had to pull over because I was crying. I couldn't see the flipping road. Soft. Yeah. What is your take on a forgivable equity builder loan? I have to, so again, this is all just, so I believe, again, I'm going to go with my memory. So I believe that's something California is doing. I think there's, again, I haven't read it in detail. I think you have to live there for a while, like 5 years or 10 years or something, at which point it's forgivable. I don't know. I don't have any violent reaction. I think it is rather small in focus. I think targeted assistance is good, generally speaking. I certainly wouldn't invite California to own part of my house. No chance. But again, it's not aimed at me, so my opinion doesn't matter. The real question I have, Tony, is does the powers that, because this is, again, I am trying to look around corners. Everything I do in my life, I'm not looking at the next step. I'm trying to look 3-4 steps ahead. That's why I make wild ass predictions like, hey guys, we should move Christmas from December to July because all of these idiot retailers are over ordering. And guess what's going to happen in July? All this shit's going to show up. That sounded crazy when I said that in December. You guys didn't see it, but look what happened. That's the stuff I'm trying to do. So why do I bring that up? I believe we started a housing-based recession. I believe it gets worse from here. So what happens? Well, government is going to do what government always does, and they're going to try to fix it. And how do I think they fix it? They take this idea of a forgivable equity loan or a down payment doubling or some other nonsense, and they give it to everybody. Which again, I'm not particularly opposed of, but I know what happens next. What happens next? The low end of the market, the least affordable part of our market, gets less affordable, and it goes up. So these are the dominoes that I'm trying to play. And what does that mean? Well, affordability might crash enough where I sell some of my single family homes. I'm not selling today because affordability, while down, is not at my low levels. So yeah, it's I'm not opposed to or against it. I think generally speaking, it's okay. Sean, think Canada's ban on foreign buyers compounds their recession risk? I don't. So it compounds the recession risk. No, I don't think it compounds the recession risk. I think it hurts the housing market. I think what you have done is you've taken away buyers on purpose that could dent or slow the housing crash. I don't know if it really helps the recession. It hurts the housing crash. Canada's housing market is not healthy, folks. When you have the Royal Bank of Canada talking about a 12% price decline, it's probably more like 25. The Royal Bank of Canada has incentive not to report the real thing, right? So it's going to get ugly in Canada. The only hope they have is the government comes out and extends and pretends or something like that. It's bad in Canada. It is set up for forced sellers, and it's not going to get better anytime soon. They could dent the pain if they allowed foreign buyers, because they're not interest rate sensitive, right? A lot of foreign buyers buy cash. So if you want to stop or slow down the housing crash, let foreign buyers buy. But I don't think it helps the recession, right? The recession's an economy thing. It would certainly hurt or help the housing market. Sean and Wendy, good morning, Michael. Thanks for your great info. We appreciate you. Thank you, Wendy and Sean. I appreciate that. Good morning. I really appreciate your updates. Working with Matt, the mortgage guy, right now. Awesome. I like it. Good morning, ORAT community. Good morning. I can't wait for the boys from Convoy in the channel next week to make an announcement about their cool new product. Yeah. Man, I love when we can see around corners. Like if you've been watching my channel for any length of time, I think it was with Convoy. I said, whichever non-QM lender figures out second mortgages first wins. Why did I say that? Well, again, I'm looking at the dominoes, right? Lots of people have low rate mortgages. BlackRock tells us that 50% of folks have 3.5% or below. If I have that and I have a lot of equity, I'm stuck. Because believe me, I'm not going to do a cash out refi, pull out 100 grand and take my rate from 3.5 to 6. That's stupid. However, I might take an 8% second and get like 75 grand. So again, Convoy teased last week that they are working on a home equity line and a second. They are scheduled to come on Thursday, 9 a.m. And you bet your ass I'm talking about it. I don't know if I said this on air or not. I think I said it on air. If I didn't, I meant to. As soon as this thing gets announced, I got a property or two that I'm going to test them on. Again, Stephen Dow from Velocity helped me pull out. Again, I told everybody what I was doing. I got cash out refi money in apartments and an office building at 3.99. Dion, I told you, get that equity when you can. Now banks are tighter. It's more expensive. I wouldn't do it today, but I'll take sub 4% money, especially in a 9% inflation. So yeah, I'm going to test Convoy out, assuming it gets announced, which they said it's coming. So yeah, I'm excited. Hey Johnny, how are you? Raul, my wife and I live in San Jose and we own a condo free and clear. Congrats. Been saving for years. We missed 2020 recession because we were fearful. Yep. Lots of people do. It's frankly, as I've tried to educate, it's predictable. It is predictable. Recessions are scary. Bear markets are scary. It is wild to think about. Again, I'm not a Bitcoin maximist or anything, but I just want to use Bitcoin because it is such a clear example of what I want to talk about. This is so funny. So Bitcoin's peak was around 69,000, right? We all remember that. The amount of people in my feed screaming Bitcoin is the future, Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that, Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that, peaked when Bitcoin was 69 grand. Now that Bitcoin's 22 or 21 or 23, whatever it is, crickets, which I think just shows you that the average consumer, the people that I study, make horrible financial decisions. If you believe in Bitcoin, Bitcoin is a better deal at 23 than 69, just mathematically. I'm not saying Bitcoin's good or bad. I'm just using it as an example. You would much rather buy AMC or Hertz when it's flying high at 300 than when it's at 40 because everybody else is buying it. We are so momentum-based, it is comical. It is why momentum-based things freak me out. Why have I been negative on syndications for 18 months? Because every real estate meetup I went to, when I did Q&A, 70% of the questions were, I'm a brand new syndicator. What do I do? Why am I scared for Airbnb today? Because over the last year, everybody's buying Airbnbs. They're buying down, selecting wrong areas. They're doing Airbnb arbitrage. It's not that easy. I watch where the masses run to, and I have an allergic reaction. It's literally, I get queasy. It's a protection. I'm not always right. Again, I sold an apartment building in 2019, lost $500,000. I lost $500,000, 500 grand. If I would have held that apartment building 18 months, I would have made half a grand or $500,000, 500 grand, half a grand. That's silly. $500,000. Why? Well, I sold at a stupid cap rate, but the cap rates got stupider because of the pandemic. I still feel great. I sold, as far as I'm concerned, I sold the building in 2019. Into the year was the right move, but in hindsight, I could have sold it better. $500,000 is a lot of money. So, yeah. But again, I get queasy when everybody's running. I run away. 1 year, 1 year, and 10 year are inverted. Yes, for a while the 2 and 30 were inverted, and I bet you they're inverted as well. I don't know. I can look, Isabel. Let's see. CNBC. Let's do this together. What are bonds? Let's see what. So the 30 year is 2.97. The 2 years 2.97. Oh, so not quite. Oh, the 1 year. The 1 year is inverted to the 30 year. You can borrow 30 years for less than the cost of 1 year. That is bananas. Bananas. Raul, we are educated now thanks to you. Excited to see the reduction in the buy box. Alameda, hoping by December, worst we can get a great deal. Awesome. Congratulations. Do the work. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, Isabel, 30 years. Oh, look at that. You said that's funny. Read ahead, Michael. Read ahead. When could we see a bottom in the real estate prices for the 2008 recession? Mini homes hit bottom in 2011. First off, congrats on doing your work. If you watch other channels, they're talking like a housing crash is going to happen inside a 90-day window. It's comical to think about. I don't know. It's going to be years. I think every market will be different. I think some markets could bottom. And again, bottom for me might be just flat, right? I think a lot of markets are going to be flat. If you're in a market like Phoenix, a couple of years maybe. I don't know. If you've looked at my 52-year spreadsheet, you know we were negative for 5 years on a national level. I don't know. We don't have forced sellers, man. I don't see a national housing crash. I haven't really shared my 2023 thoughts yet because I don't know how high the Fed has to go. I did a whiteboard discussion about the most important question. I think it was called the most important economic question. And it is that one bar chart, 9.1 CPI, is the riddle that I don't know the answer to. And until I know the answer to that question, I can't answer your question. Here's why. Because if you look at 9.1% and Kathy Wood is right, and more than half of 9.1 is transitory, and we get to 3.5% inflation by January. Well, good news. The Fed doesn't have to go very high. I think Kathy Wood is insane for her predictions. I think she is saying what she needs to do to keep her fund alive. But she could be right. I don't know. I have no idea. So if I use Kathy Wood as one extreme, then the Fed is, if Kathy Wood is right and 9.1 just magically falls to 3.5, the Fed could be done raising rates by December. If the Fed's done raising rates by December, we don't have a housing crash. We just don't. We bounce around a plateau for a couple of years, wage inflation happens, and we're okay. However, if Kathy Wood is wrong and Michael Burry is right, if Michael Burry is right and where 9.1 becomes like 7.5, we have some transitory, but not a lot, and inflation is sticky, and then the Fed has to raise rates through the summer of next year, and we have to get the Fed funds rate not from 3.25, but we have to get it at 6.5. That's going to be painful. So I have no idea. I don't know yet. I told you that again. I'm very upfront. I have no idea. I don't know what the answer is. My current suspicion is wage inflation is much worse and much stickier than the data is letting on, which is both good and bad. Wage inflation is good because it actually makes housing more affordable. It just does. These people that are screaming house affordability or price don't realize that wages are the third and very important component. If we have 3 years of 5 to 8% wage inflation, which is way above trend, housing could be affordable by 2025. It just can. It's how math works. And if that's the case, rates got to go higher. So I don't know. I'd love to hear everybody else's thoughts. I don't know. And I love to guess. I love to make predictions. You guys know that. I just don't know what the answer is right now. And I'm not going to just, I don't know. I just don't know today. Roldan, I'm noticing most of the new single family home builds are 300 to 800 square feet smaller compared to previous COVID era, perhaps due to material costs. Do you foresee a reduction? So yeah, this is something I predicted. So again, what's going on today in housing? And I talked about this on the daily financial news. Builders have ready-made inventory. They are going to discount that stuff and sell it. Greg Dickerson told us months ago this would happen, and he was right again. If you guys don't listen to my Monday interviews with Greg Dickerson, a former builder, you're missing out. He has been so right. He actually called CPI above 9, and I did not. He nailed it. But what's going to happen with builders is they're going to blow out their inventory. They're going to slow down. And then, Roldan, they're going to go back to their future builds, and they're going to go smaller. That's what I think. I think they're even going to go smaller. They're going to get more units on the land. So that's what I think is happening. It's a natural outcome. When you are writing great, this is from Athena. When you are writing great offers, do you contact the listing agent directly to make your offer, or do you use your own agent? I would say it's about 50-50. Athena, in the market I have today, I have a couple of maybe 3 agents that I'm working with. We talk almost weekly. And if they bring me the listing, I go with them. I always bring whoever brings me the deal, I write the offer with. I was a commission-based salesperson for 30 some odd years. If you bring me a deal, you get paid. Even if I have to pay you out of my own pocket, you get paid. But if I find a listing by myself, because I look every day, just like all my students, if I find a listing that no one's brought it to me, I'll go direct to the listing. So it's about 50-50 today. Yeah, it's about 50-50. Marco, go for peer-reviewed white paper. It's my plan, but let's be clear. I need somebody with an actual title, senior economist, chief economist, something like that, to co-write it with me. Otherwise, it won't get peer-reviewed. How do I save money on real estate agent commission when selling a home? There's obviously listing companies out there that can do that. You can list by your own. I would tell you that listing a home in the market you're in, the market we're heading into, the market of the last 2 years, the easiest job to have was a listing agent. I would tell you the hardest job for the next 2 years is the listing agent. So I don't know that I would be particularly worried about that. You can ask for discounts, but I don't know. That's transaction costs are part of the business. There are ways around it. Again, I think isn't Redfin the one that does 1% listing fees? But you're going to have to pay the seller side or the buyer side. I don't know. You could go direct. There's plenty of wholesalers that'll give you a cash price. I think you're being a penny wise and a pound foolish. I don't know. I don't know your situation though. Yeah, lots of people try for sale by owner. You can. I would never do that. Too much risk, too many disclosures. But yeah. Not something I've ever thought about. Good morning. Thanks for all you do. You're very welcome, Elise. Yep, realtors. Yep, realtors not going to help you. Yep. Philip, you're welcome. Hit the like button. Thank you. Preach. Good morning. Palvi, good morning. Momo, good morning. Jose, live like no one else so later you can live like no one else. Les Brown. Well said, Les Brown. Dividend Dave, hi, how are you? Oh, Dave Ramsey with the quote. There you go. What do you think is going to happen? This is from Joel. What do you think is going to happen with affordable housing crisis with rising interest rates? Again, affordability record low in many cities, if not all. I guess it's many. I guess I would say most. I guess not all. Most cities. Affordability is fixed in a couple of ways. One, I think it was Roldan mentioned above, builders could start building smaller homes. We could fundamentally change how we build housing. There are cheaper ways. So my long-term answer to affordable housing is we need leadership from the federal and state level to actually make it profitable to build cheaper homes. I don't know, again, it's not my problem to solve, but the answer to the long-term question, Joel, is to make it profitable to build smaller and cheaper homes. The fact that today, given zoning and all the other headaches, you have to build a McMansion to make any money is why we have the problem we have today. So we have leaders who have the ability to establish rules and guidelines, and we have a bunch of technology innovators. I suspect over the next decade, Joel, there will be some entrepreneur, Elon Musk 2.0, that goes after housing. And suddenly we find a better way to build them. I don't know if it's 3D printing. I don't know if it's container homes. I don't know. But the long-term answer to the affordable housing crisis is to build affordable housing. It's that simple. And the model we have today doesn't work. So that's the long-term answer. Where you might be going with this question is the fact that the payment today is unaffordable, which if you follow me, you're right, it is. We fix affordability at the payment level with three factors: price, rate, and one that nobody talks about, but is the most important, wages. Again, I think it is a outcome that is just as likely as anything else is we have a flat housing market in price. Housing could go down in real terms, but still go up in nominal terms. What the hell does that mean? Well, if you're on my channel, we know we try to educate a little bit. The difference between nominal and real. A house goes from 300 to 310. That's nominal. But if you look at it and you adjust to inflation and the depreciation in the dollar, and that house is now, it goes from 300 to 290. That is real. So I believe it is very likely that the nominal housing price is flat for 5 years. If you adjust to inflation, it'll be down. Second, I think rates will balance out somewhere between 5.5 and 6.25 on average for the next 5 years. Sure, it could go higher for a little bit, but it'll come back down. Third, in what I believe, in what almost nobody else is talking about, I believe wage inflation will be north of 5% for the next 5 years. Think about the compounding of that. I think wages simply go up. And when wages go up, housing gets more affordable. So if you take 5% and compound it, let's try that in my head. So if you go from 50 grand, then you go to 5250, then you go to, 56, then you go to, what would that be? 58.5. I mean, you get to 65 grand pretty easy. So I think the answer is going to be a flat housing market, basically flat rates and rising wages. I think that's what happens. Frank, the quicker we build an empire with residential passive income, the quicker we get back to being kids. I like that. I bought 2 single-family homes that needed extensive repairs. In one, I have 20K into it. The second, 35 into it. Both free and clear. They rent for $7 and $10.50, respectively. Wow, 35%. Wow. This so far has worked for me, but I wanted to invest in a few turnkey rentals, smaller yield, and of course, I wouldn't own free and clear. Okay. So far I've worked, the repair property for what's your advice on changing up my strategy for 30 year? Abdul, again, my course is very straightforward. I buy the highest yield. And as I said in my first book, One Rental at a Time, I should have bought turnkey when I started. I didn't use my cash appropriately. I don't know. I would do the math. I buy the highest yield. I am a simple person. At the end of the day, one rental at a time, or what I teach is do the work, understand the math, and buy the best deal. I don't know what it's going to be for you. No idea. But I got to tell you, getting a 35% yield on your money, that's pretty damn good. And again, just because you could buy more turnkeys doesn't make it better. Who cares? For me, it's not unit count. Bigger is better. Nonsense. Nonsense. Most of you can be financially free on 16 or less units. Dion showed us that. You don't need hundreds. It's fun to say, but you don't need it. So I don't know. Do the math. The math doesn't lie. Math, yeah, do the work. Figure out the numbers. Hey, Fisherman 12, how are you? Oh, hi from New Zealand. Sam, New Zealand. Shout out the other man, New Zealand. Is it tomorrow already? No, probably not tomorrow. It's probably late your time though. Hey Sam, thanks for reaching out. Oh, Wyndham, how do you say that? Wyndham, I have no idea how to say that. Good morning, Nevada. Slot Kid, house paid off, cars free and clear, 0 credit card debt with large savings. Wow, nice work. That sounds good. Chester, I've talked to Convoy. One thing, the reason Convoy and Velocity are on my channel is they're both non-QM lenders, but they both chose to focus on other things. Convoy has no interest in combined loan to value. Velocity does. So what is combined loan to value? It's called CLTV. Combined loan to value allows you to go get 10% down, 40% second, 50% first. Convoy has no interest in that product. So no, they always reserve the right to change their mind, but I've asked them and they said, no, that's not where we're focused. Yep. Lennar reducing prices doesn't shock me. They're going to blow out existing inventory. I don't know why people are angry, but whatever. Hi, Miami. Hi, Washington. Yeah, high equity plus motivated sellers, the holy grail. That's exactly who I am marketing to, right? I'm spending $1,000 a month, and we'll spend $1,000 the next year, every month. So that's 12 grand. Marketing to people with 60% equity, duplexes through quads. Yep. It's going to work. It's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. Hello, sir. I live in Arizona. I see prices remaining strong and don't see a crash coming anytime soon. Awesome. Okay. Well, there's no magic sauce, JR. You could 1031. I mean, that's one thing you could do, but rates are high everywhere, man. I mean, it's not, you can't go back in time, unfortunately. Yeah, unfortunately. Oh, there's a fun question, Jay. So Jay's going to be the last question. because I need to get ready for Dion and Matt changing lives. I don't know. Usually when people say interest rate, you mean the 30-year. I haven't checked the 30-year in a while. Let's say the 30-year today is 5.5. I don't know how the 30-year is not over 6 by the end of the year. But again, that's a wild ass guess. I have no idea, nor does anybody else. But yeah, this has been fun, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this. We have 202 people watching this currently, 75 thumbs up. Couldn't get to any questions. All the questions, I apologize. Again, going forward, the only time I will talk about super chats are in my 60-minute live streams. In the future, if you want to jump to the front of the line, throw a super chat in there. Why do I talk about it now? Because apparently that's how you get the YouTube algorithm to push your channel, is you pay YouTube. You bribe YouTube. So that's what we'll do. We'll do it once a week. Take care. If you're one of my students, I hope to see you in the Facebook group or the live stream on Zoom. The invite's in the Facebook group, and I sent it via Teachable yesterday. Take care. Bye.